This is the second video evaluating expansionary fiscal policy. So if you were doing a longer answer question about expansionary fiscal policy, you might want to talk about other implications of putting it into place, why you might want to, might not want to, what further impact it might have in the economy. And just as a recap, remember expansionary, to expand means to get bigger. It's the opposite of contractionary. Expansionary fiscal policy is a demand side policy where the aim is to increase aggregate demand. And the ways that you can do this are by increasing government spending and or decreasing taxation. And both of these things should cause aggregate demand to increase. On a diagram, you'd show aggregate demand shifting from AD to AD1, and that causes income to increase from Y to Y1, so we have real economic growth, and the price level also increases from P to P1. Therefore, one of the consequences that you might talk about is the fact that if you have expansionary fiscal policy, you might see inflation. That's when the price level increases from here to here. And in this case, it's demand pull inflation, which is being caused by the increase in aggregate demand here. Because as the long run aggregate supply curve starts to curve upwards, this is where your spare capacity is starting to run out, and therefore the price level goes up. And how could you counter this inflationary impact? So how could the government do something to stop or reduce the impact of the aggregate demand increasing that it has on the price level? So one way of doing this is that you could actually increase your productive potential, because in my diagram, the reason that we've got the demand pull inflation is because we've got more aggregate demand and the amount of capacity in the economy is starting to run out. Because remember, LRAS shows what you're capable of producing in your economy. It's just the same as a production possibility frontier. And when the LRAS becomes perfectly inelastic here, your output can't go any further than this point here. Being here, having your equilibrium here with the aggregate demand curve, is like being on your PPF. You can't go any further. So therefore, if you wanted to not have this inflationary pressure, you could increase your productive potential. So I'll just show you on the diagram. In the extreme, if you could increase your long run aggregate supply so that actually, I'll do it in a different colour, your equilibrium price level was here at exactly the same point as it was before. Actually, in that case, you won't have any increase in the price level. So if you did that LRAS 1, because that would lead you to being here, which is at Y2, but the price level is still at P. So if you have the expansionary fiscal policy, which will increase AD to here, at the same time as increasing your productive potential to LRAS 1, that will mean that actually you don't have any increase in the average price level. You don't have inflation. And as we'll learn later on, the way that you can increase this productive potential and cause LRAS to go to LRAS 1 is by using a supply side policy. And that's actually what causes your productive potential to increase.